African news update on top accolade news. The headlines: power struggle deepens in South Sudan's opposition. Ethiopia's National Security Council announces key progress in reforms. Ruto responds to U.S. tariffs. Zimbabwe begins compensation to former farm owners. In politics, power struggle deepens in South Sudan's opposition. South Sudan's main opposition is in turmoil following the arrest of its longtime leader, Riek Machar. The political wing of the Sudan People's Liberation Movement in opposition has appointed Stephen Parr as interim chair, prompting backlash from the group's armed wing, which remains loyal to Machar. Parr, previously the government's peacebuilding minister, was suspended from both his ministerial role and the party after accepting the nomination. Machar, under house arrest since late March, was accused by President Salva Kiir of fueling recent deadly clashes in the north. With internal divisions deepening and the 2018 peace deal already fragile, analysts wonder the country could slide back into civil war. Still in politics, Ethiopia's National Security Council announces key progress in reforms. The Ethiopian National Security Council has announced notable progress in the country's ongoing reform effort despite significant challenges. The council highlighted advancements in peace building, particularly in the Tigray region, where infrastructure has been rebuilt and services restored following the peace agreement. The statement also emphasized the country's growing influence in the international forums and the increasing numbers of militants embracing peace. While challenges persist in some regions, Ethiopia's security forces remain steadfast in their commitment to ensuring national stability with the support of international partners. The Council reaffirmed its optimism for Ethiopia's future prosperity, stressing that the path of peace remains crucial for the country's progress. Shifting focus to economy, Ruto responds to U.S. tariffs. President William Ruto has broken his silence on the 10% tariff imposed on Kenyan exports to the U.S., declaring that Kenya would protect its economic interests amid rising global trade tensions. Ruto urged African nations to accelerate the African Continental Free Trade Area, emphasizing the potential of regional bloc to drive Africa towards becoming the world's largest market. Asserting Africa's shift from being merely a source of raw materials, he called for partnership focused on value addition and job creation. Ruto also emphasized education investment as key to unlocking Africa's potential. Still in economy, Zimbabwe begins compensation to former farm owners. Zimbabwe has begun compensating former farm owners under the Global Compensation Deed signed in 2020, marking a significant step towards resolving its long-standing land reform legacy. The government has approved 740 lands for compensation, with the first batch of 378 processed farms receiving $3.1 million in cash, representing 1% of the $311 million total claim. The balance will be paid via US dollar-denominated treasury bonds with maturity of up to 10 years. Finance Minister Professor Untuli Nkube reaffirmed the commitment to ongoing reforms and debt resolution. All stakeholders welcomed the move as a positive stride towards economic discovery, investment confidence, and international re-engagement. You are watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. In international relations, Egypt urges Europe for migration support. At the second ministerial meeting of the EU Horn of Africa Migration Route Initiative, also known as the Khartoum process, Egypt's Foreign Minister Badi Abdelati called for increased European support to manage migration pressures. Abdelati highlighted Egypt's efforts since 2016, claiming no migration boats have left its shores thanks to a strict national strategy. He urged European nations to invest more in healthcare, education, and job creation for the 10 million refugees currently in Egypt, warning that without support, many may resort to dangerous migration routes to Europe. Moving to health, Angola ramps up cholera response with Africa CDC support. Angola has intensified its fight against a deadly cholera outbreak with support from the Africa CDC, which in March 2025 delivered 2,000 oral cholera vaccines for frontline healthcare workers. The outbreak, declared in January after a confirmed case in Luanda, has since spread to 17 provinces, causing over 11,000 infections and 421 deaths, with a case fatality rate of 3.6%. The government, backed by international partners, has launched a $6.5 million national response plan, set up cholera treatment centers, and rolled out a vaccination campaign reaching over 925,000 people. Africa CDC continues to provide technical support and experts on the ground, emphasizing the urgent need to improve access to care and reduce fatalities in hard-hit areas like Luanda and Bengal. In entertainment, Côte d'Ivoire shines at Africa Cinema Days 2025 in Paris. Côte d'Ivoire took to the spotlight at Africa Cinema Days 2025 in Paris, where over 600 participants gathered to celebrate the richness of African filmmaking through screenings, debates, and live performances. Audiences enjoyed classics and animated films, delighted young viewers. A panel on Côte d'Ivoire's growing role in African cinema highlighted the industry's momentum and cross-cultural collaboration. The festival, wrapped with high energy, bring the celebration to a vibrant close. Now in sports, women referees make history in AFCON training in Morocco. At the Total Energies CAF Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025, a special refereeing initiative took place in Casablanca, where 45 referees, including 13 women, received expert training to refine their skills ahead of the quarterfinals. The session focused on improving refereeing techniques in areas such as positioning, decision-making in the penalty area, and the efficiency of VAR reviews. The event also marked a significant step towards the women in African football, with women referees playing a key role in training. This initiative reflects CAF's commitment to youth development, gender inclusion, and the modernization of refereeing across the continent. That concludes our African news update for today. Stay tuned for more African news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojaromi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.